And then a lot of people will say, well, because they're, deporting a lot of these undocumented immigrants, that's actually going to make it more possible for us to be able to get those jobs and have better salaries. And while that may sound good on paper, do you absolutely think that the corporations, these parasite class, they're actually going to allow us to make demands and demand for better, more livable wages? No, the police are just going to ramp up what they're doing. And if they can't arrest any more undocumented immigrants because they're all gone, guess who they're going to come after next? They're going to come after us. And they're going to start arresting us under minor infractions and then having us work for slavery within their private prisons. I do not trust these parasites. I don't. One of the things that I wanted to share was that the Trump presidency, with the ICE raids, especially with what's going on across the country. And the thing is, I think still to this point, Trump still hasn't deported as many people as Biden. I always have to take a look at that again. But I know that Biden was very heavy-handed in deportations. The person who had the most was Barack Obama. But I think the one, thing that is happening under Donald Trump is there's a lot of people who are working towards becoming citizens, and they're being targeted as well. And so one of the things that I wanted to bring up is, and shout out to Cowboy Kitty for this one, for this story about a loved one that was targeted by ICE and is now in ICE custody. So let me share this. This was an article that was also shared by Hard Lens Media, Kit Cabello. Shout out to him for sharing this. And I originally saw it on his channel. But this is out of Desert and Bloom Substack. It says how Ohio built a business on disappearing immigrants. It says an investigative report on how Ohio sheriffs turned traffic tickets into ICE money, arresting a working mother, and helped to make your country into a quiet deportation machine. So this came out earlier this month. So it says it all starts with a flicker of red and blue in the mirror. In Ohio, that's all it takes. A tag a month out, a stop sign interpreted too loosely, a state trooper with a quota, that's the doorway. What happens after has nothing to do with our traffic. This isn't theoretical. Ohio's been perfecting the traffic stop to deportation pipeline since at least early 2024. According to the American Immigration Council, the Ohio State Highway Patrol began colluding with Border Patrol agents at the Sandusky Bay Station to target Latino drivers in northern Ohio. They pulled over vehicles on flimsy pretexts, performed ID checks, and flagged names to DHS. That was the dress rehearsal. Now the tactic is statewide, weaponizing by local sheriffs with dollar signs in their eyes and ICE on speed dial. So this shows the ICE, the participating agencies. And if you notice, it's very heavy, especially in border states. Particularly if you look at Florida, where I live, it is extremely heavy in Florida. So, yeah, and also extremely heavy in Southeast Texas. So if you guys can see there. It says, under Trump's second term, sheriffs across Ohio have been deputized, some formally, some functionally, to act as federal immigration officers. Through the 2A7G program, local cops can be trained and authorized to make civil immigration arrests, usually under the banner of public safety. Portage County signed on. Others, like Mahoning County, didn't. They didn't need to. All it takes is a jail contract, a traffic stop, and the political will to disappear people for money. So it talks about Mahoning County. They didn't join 287G. They didn't need to. So it talks about Sheriff Jerry Green, who served 4 years as a Democrat before flipping to the GOP and running unopposed in 2024, made a simple deal. ICE pays $125 a day for each immigrant detained in the Mahoney County Justice Center. So as soon as Trump got elected, I contacted ICE in Cleveland and Homeland Security in Detroit and discussed with them that I would certainly have some open bed space if they wanted to come and take a look at us in particular facility. They wanted to be a housing immigrants. With capacity up to 150 people, the deal is worth over $4.5 million a year. By April of 2025, Mahoney was already holding 95 ICE detainees a day. Most were picked up after minor stops and funneled into Green's jail like livestock into a butchery. And so it says one of them is Nataliya Vichekova. She is a 54-year-old legal resident. She has lived in the United States for 9 years, working, raising her daughter, and applying for a green card. She was stopped in Portage County, reportedly over by the Ohio State Patrol for expired tags, and ended up in ICE custody. Her family has launched a GoFundMe to help with legal costs. If you're able, please check it out. Her story is what led me to investigate this entire pipeline. It says Nataliya's bookings list her as charged with federal immigration and held in Mahoney County, but she was arrested in Portage right next door. Portage County is no ordinary county either. It's one that enthusiastically joined the 287G program and says that, remember, that's the formal ICE partnership that deputizes local cops as federal immigration agents, the one that they advertise on their website like they're selling you a cable service. Portage County Sheriff Bruce Jakowski didn't just accept immigration powers. He jumped at the chance to join ICE's enforcement network while already under fire for abusing his position. So this is an investigative article as well that's talking about the links between local police and ICE and what they're doing. And really it's just it sounds like it's really just a big money grab, especially from, prisons and jails to be able to house more people in detention. Now, if anybody knows, they know about Core Civic. Core Civic is actually a private prison, right? And so Core Civic, being a private prison, they're there to make money. And so, as you can see there, of course, ICE uses places like Core Civic. And so this just goes to show how a lot of people are being detained within our borders who are on a pathway to citizenship. And yet, because of minor infractions that, could be a mistake, right? It's a misdemeanor. Next thing you know, they end up getting detained and deported over a misdemeanor. And so, it's crazy. And the crazy part is, it's like, okay, Donald Trump is always talking about we're here to take out the bad people, the criminals. And I'm like, okay, so somebody was a little bit late on their tag. How many people have been late on their tag? Especially because they didn't have the money at the time, right? How many people, didn't fully stop at a stop sign? And if that is grounds for you being deported, well, then I guess that's grounds for you also being jailed on. And so then that means all of y'all are criminals. I don't have a driver's license. I don't drive a car. So therefore, I'm not a criminal. But the rest of y'all are. See what I mean? And that's the thing. It's like there's levels to this. And the problem is that they're doing this to somebody who is not even what they call an illegal, right? This is a person that's literally on the pathway to citizenship. They're a legal resident and they're working to get their green card. And yet, because of a misdemeanor, they are being detained and threatened with deportation. So really, and what is this? This is really just attacking a people with very little power. And because you're attacking the people with very little power, you are also making it so that they are afraid to ever step out of line when it comes to challenging power. And it also helps cause a division between citizens and non-citizens. So then there's a divide among the working class. And so this is what the system does. And the crazy part about it is, if she was a agricultural migrant worker, would she be faced with deportation? Because we all know that Donald Trump reversed on that one. Right? Ultimately, if you just want to get rid of all immigrants, okay, but you're gonna have to get rid of, like, Donald Trump would literally have to get rid of his wife. But then it's like, oh, she came here illegally. Well, this person came here illegally too. So then what? You're gonna go after Elon? Because he started here illegally. Oh, but he has not only the complexion for the protection, but he has the cash for the protection. I see, I get it. So this is also part of the class war. And so this is why it's so important for us to pay attention to what they do, because ultimately it starts with people like this, but then it doesn't just stop there, because ultimately, like, I'll be honest with you, a lot of people are saying, well, it's only going to affect immigrants. It's already affecting citizens. And I don't trust this capitalist system to stop at just there. And the thing is, it's not actually about deporting them. It's about keeping the nation divided so that you'll have one set of people against another set of people. And they always have a group of people to exploit, right? But at the same time, because they're exploiting them, that also puts us under. So then we're fighting to have higher wages, but then they don't want to hire us because they're like, well, I can just get somebody who's undocumented and hire them for cheap. So basically, this is NAFTA brought home. This is NAFTA brought to our soil. So instead of going outsourcing there, they're insourcing undocumented people in order to make sure that they can have more money in their pockets, so that the billionaire class and the parasite class can have more money in their pockets. So basically, NAFTA is basically chickens coming home to roost. But who is it harming? It's harming all of us. It's harming undocumented people. It's harming documented immigrants. It's harming us citizens, and the most vulnerable of us citizens, particularly those of us who are Black American. It's harming us because it's the corporate powers. And so always aim your ire at the people at the top. And I'm not just talking about politicians. No. I'm talking about the people higher than them. I'm talking about the people that's ultimately overseeing this system and trying to make us all victims of their greed and selfishness. Now, I'm leaving the GoFundMe link into the chat so you guys can have that. Then let me share the GoFundMe link. And I can talk about this a little bit more further on Tuesday. But I just wanted to cover this just for a little bit. But it says working mother taken by ICE. So far, they raised $1,177. So they're about a quarter of a way to their goal. And so if you guys would like to, you guys can You guys can all donate as well. So it's organized by Cowboy Kitty, who's in the chat right now. So thank you very much for sharing this with us. Because ultimately, like, this is a person that literally is here legally, and they're being detained by ICE. They're being kidnapped. Let's call it what it really is, right? And so, yeah, Luke Carlos says ICE has already arrested Americans. If they arrest you and you document your citizenship, they're telling people, I don't care, which sounds like an arrest quota. Yeah. And this is one of the reasons why I've always been against things like private prisons. I mean, to be honest with you, it's horrible, because now look at what they're doing. And then a lot of people will say, well, because they're, deporting a lot of these undocumented immigrants, that's actually going to make it more possible for us to be able to get those jobs and have better salaries. And while that may sound good on paper, do you absolutely think that the corporations, these parasite class, they're actually going to allow us to make demands and demand for better, more livable wages? No, the police are just going to ramp up what they're doing. And if they can't arrest any more undocumented immigrants because they're all gone, guess who they're going to come after next? They're going to come after us. And they're going to start arresting us under minor infractions and then having us work for slavery within their private prisons. I do not trust these parasites. I don't. Because guess what? That's what they're going to do. They're already doing it. Look at Angola prison in Louisiana. They still got Black Americans who are incarcerated picking cotton. You don't think that they're not going to go back to that?